Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Roy Evans of the Jericho Broadcast Networks, and I am here with Mr. Darren Reed, who is the Senior Vice President of Stride Professional Development. Darren, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Roy. Glad to be here.
All right, well, thanks. So let's start off by telling the folks a little bit about what Stride Professional Development is.
Yeah, absolutely. Stride is the nation's leading provider of online education in the K through 12 space. We were formerly known as K-12 Inc. and are over 2 decades in the space of providing free virtual online education across the nation to students, no matter where they are. We've since changed our name to Stride because we've expanded beyond the K-12 space, though that's still very much what we do as a priority. What we've also done with the Stride Professional Development Center is we've leveraged some of our expertise over the past 2+ decades of supporting schools and students and educators, teachers, principals, and we are trying to innovate, the way professional development happens for educators, and that we're doing that through the Stride Professional Development Center. Gone are the days where it's face-to-face only PD. It's episodic professional development. It's professional development that's not necessarily relevant to what teachers and educators need right away. So the Professional Development Center is designed to solve that challenge with some unique and innovative ways of delivering content.
All right, man. Well, listen, we are super excited here at the network to be engaged with you all and helping to provide this opportunity for teachers all across the country, and especially those teachers that are coming from our HBCU backgrounds, because we know that education was always one of the stalwarts of most HBCUs in this country. They all had teaching programs, and that's what a lot of them were founded for. So there, let's talk a little bit about those special programs that you guys have for the teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Roy, you hit on the very important point. Right now in our country, we're facing probably one of the greatest challenges, of our teaching corps that we have in many, many years. And that's around this teacher shortage. A lot of teachers are exiting the profession. Just based on tenure, they're retiring and moving on, and then you have, our existing teachers who are being taxed and stressed, particularly post-COVID with, increasing demands, challenges that they're facing in the classroom, and a host of other issues that they struggle with. And we need good teachers, and we need to support the teachers that we have. So the two things that we're doing is that we know first-year teachers, among all teachers, are among the first to leave the profession within the first 5 years. I think they do at a 44% rate, which is just scary to think that folks are, graduated, want to go in the classroom and make a difference, but, feel like they need to leave within the first 5 years because it's so challenging. So we want to support them. Obviously, as a new teacher, your school that you work where you work your first year, the district where you work, there will be some professional development support to assist you. But we want to go a step further. We want to help every teacher in the country get off to a strong start to their first year and have some stick-to-itiveness, to help them get through that first year. So we're offering a year free access to the Stride Professional Development Center. It's a ever-growing online database of courses that will help them in a variety of different ways. Classroom management, targeted instruction, and a host of other things. And the content will continuously grow. Again, it's just another resource that allows them to sharpen their practice, to feel like they're supported, because the research says that teachers are leaving in large part because they don't feel like they get enough professional support. So we really hope that helps new teachers. So again, this is for any new teacher who just graduated in the country. All you have to do is go to our site and sign on using the Teachers Win discount at checkout. Also, we have another campaign where during Teacher Appreciation Week, we gifted all teachers in the country, no matter where you are, 6 months free Professional Development Center access. But we're doing a special thing through our partnership with the BCSN and our HBCU graduates, and also the schools that you work with. We want any teacher in the country who through our partnership gets access to the Professional Development Center, and they get 6 months free using the BCSN 23 passcode at checkout. Again, our goal is to support and get as many teachers on the site feeling supported, to really help them succeed and have some success, not only for them, but obviously for our kids and the communities they serve. So
Most definitely. And Darren, listen, we are super excited again to be a part of this. My mother was a teacher. My aunt was a teacher. I have my best friend is a teacher.
Absolutely.
So we understand. I've worked in the school system for years. So I understand the resources that are needed. I understand why a lot of these teachers do take the time and they sit there, and after going through college, they're like, you know what, let's do something different. Yeah. So we're happy to be a part of this to help you guys change that. So ladies and gentlemen, here's all you guys need to do. All you need to do is take a look and go to the link that's right below us right now and see what you're going to do. You're going to see 2 links on the page now, just to make sure. The top one takes you to their professional development page, homepage, that'll let you know about some of the things that are happening there and the things that you have access to. Go to the second link that says Teacher Appreciation. That'll take you directly to the content page where you can sign up and get your free year if you're a new teacher, and your free 6 months if you're an existing teacher. Let's show them how we utilize resources, and we make sure that we take time, those folks who are HBCU alum, and use this. And let's see what Stride has to offer. We're excited about it. We know you will be too. Darren, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the folks?
No, I mean, just, as a teacher myself, and understanding the need, and of course with the diversity that's needed in our teaching corps across the country, I know our HBCU teacher graduates are just exactly what we need in our community. So I really encourage them, and just glad to be doing this partnership with you all.
All right. Well, folks, there you go again, Mr. Darren Reed, Senior Vice President of Stride Professional Development Learning. We will be seeing you guys, and trust me, you'll be seeing more from their partnership with us as we move forward, always trying to do our best to make sure that we move forward with the community. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Man, I'm excited. Episode 400. Can you believe it? Episode 400 on the Black College Sports Network. We've been doing shows a little longer than that. We're not going to let you know where all this pepper gray spray hair has come from, but including being in partnership with the Black College Sports Network, Roy Evan and his team. This is episode 400. I'm quite excited. We have Mike Washington, my ace, in more ways than one, Charles Bishop, a partner that I can count on for any road trip, even if I'm dragging him. He's like, let's go. And we brought in an old fella back in the day. We're going to share the stage with the member of Phi Beta Sigma. I don't know how that happens. Blue and White, he made that accident a long time ago. He listened to everything else I said except for that, but he's still a good band. And anybody that can wear the blue and white like he does is on top of it. I mean, from several SWAC institutions to the MEAC conference office, this man is the embodiment of what it means to be a Black college fan, somebody that works and immerses himself in that. And that is none other than my brother, Ryan McGinty. Starting with you, Ryan, since you were part of the crew that kind of designed this show. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How y'all doing?
Man, we good. You can lighten up, man. You act like you ain't used to being on TV.
Man,
What kind of greeting is that, Ryan? How y'all doing? What kind of greeting is that?
You want me to do this? I mean, I've been saying.
You ain't changed a bit, man. You gonna come in with anger.
I know where the show evolved from and the way it is now. I'm looking at that nice intro, so I'm like, man, I'm kind of almost amazing.
Somebody take his mic. All right, he was muted. I told him I was muted. We're going to put him back on mute. Mike, how you doing? From day one, the man that I remember recording for ESPN talking about he wanted to be on the show if I ever started one. I called him up. He said, "Oh, really?" Mike Washington, the ace, the only ace I know that gets it done. Literally walk the yard.
Legally.
How you doing, Mike? Fresh off the road. Where you at, man? Are you at a home on the road? Where you at, man? They put you up in some hotel, fancy hotel.
I'm on the road. I'm in some hotel, man. I'm actually at Bill Street, BB King.
Put the steak dinners down. I know you like to eat well. He always talking about they taking me out to eat. Put the steak dinners down. Get you some broccoli, man. Get you some broccoli.
Man, I had to switch up dinner plans, man. I was like, come on, man. We got to do this a little bit later tonight.
I'm going to tell everybody your secret, all that wine you drinking out there, all them big bottles of wine. Bring me a wine bottle. Quit hogging all that.
So good to be on the show with all you brothers, man. Good to be. I joke around, but it's definitely good to be in fellowship with all you brothers, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Then the one and only Charles, man. Charles has come a long way. I tricked him into getting in the doctoral program. He's still trying to figure that one out.
I know, right?
Man, what is it? I said, you signed up for it, man.
Man,
well,
what an
I
odyssey.
say, man, we going here. We going where? I said, we going here, man. We got to do this. He said, okay. And it's all wind up as he continues to grow and do his things. He was on the sideline, Ryan. Did you see him at the swag, the baseball tournament, talking to coaches? I'm like, look at him. He's showing out. Asking tough questions.
Hey, ask him how did the deal get done? It got done in the third inning the week before. That's how fast things can move in this business.
Right. I can't help but tell all the secrets, man. He's nervous when we bring him on. He's gonna let everything out. So Charles, how you doing, man?
Doing well, Doc. Doing well. You know, it's show 400. You know, I never double parried, but today I double parried up. So
I like that. That's what happens when you take your trips to Nashville with 4 or 5 lines up there, over there in Jackson with the brothers, man. I know. I'm just glad you got back in one piece. And
shout out, no doubt.
Oh, that's right. We can't.
Right. Shout out to the brothers, the Delta Phi brothers of Jackson State University, man. Really enjoyed them. Really enjoyed them this past weekend. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, you know that's one of Mike's many trips. He just loves going to the Alpha chapels and checking on folks. Talking about the A's. You got to show out to everybody representing the account. Hey, knocking on door.
I showed up to FAMU and they didn't have no answer. I was like, Roy, what's up? I like, Roy, what's up?
I was like, kicking doors. He's like, man,
where y'all at?
Is this? Say it. But with that, I'm gonna start with Charles. What are your thoughts when you hear 400? What does that mean to you?
It's a lot of work that's been put in, and I mean, I think one of the biggest compliments I think that this show has received is, despite the growth of podcasts and things of that nature, people know where they can come to for a lot of great interviews, a lot of facts, a lot of things to kind of set the record straight. And I think that's a lasting testament to this show in terms of the types of individuals who want to come on the show, be it commissioners, athletic directors, coaches, administrators, whatever the case might be. But they know that this is a forthright show, that we will get the information out, and we really appreciate the fan base that has grown from this.
Good points. Great points as always. Mike, this is a data point. What does this data point mean to you?
Couple of things. Number one, growth. CB alluded to it. Brand loyalty and consistency. You know, one of the things you said, Dr. Cavil, and I commend you, and we've kind of kept that mantra, is we may not always be first, but we're going to be the most accurate to bring news to you. And people appreciate that. That is part of our moniker. So And the growth of it has spurned out other products. You look at CB. When we started, I walk with Kenyatta, and I feel like I'm walking with the mayor. Now I walk with Kenyatta and CB. I feel like I'm walking with the president and the mayor. So, so it's that brand recognition. I laugh, but coaches, ADs, I think CB, that recognition has grown. It's sprouted wings, it's sprouted tentacles, and all across the diaspora, all across the HBCU landscape, people know this show. They know the personalities, going back many, many years, all the way back to Ryan. So that recognition, that loyalty means quite a bit, year after year after year after year and out. And then the growth that you've seen, even myself, even though I joke around, Dr. Cavil will cut my mic off at times. I got to remind him that I was before him and that we will have a talk after the show. But we've grown and we have fun. But I think family is another word that I did. Not only with each other, but family with the HBCU community overall.
Oh, well said. Ryan, I can always come to you to kick it straight. And obviously you are a foundation, so we'll forever celebrate you believing in the thought process. And we go back to when we were just trying to do this and set up a web page when you got mad at somebody and got kicked off the site, and you're like, hey, yeah, here's the money, start your website. So with that being said, where we all come from, the work that you're doing, and obviously we recall the importance that you put to this program in terms of getting us some foundations. I'm gonna ask you from this perspective, and you take it where you want to. What are your thoughts when you hear 400 and having a part of what that meant to start the show?
Well, I had to take down some notes because Mike was getting kind of like, when he his Sunday sermon, he had to bring some notes. And so I write things down. And growth, like you said, is big. I remember starting off Sunday nights, 9:30 p.m., I think, or 10 o'clock, something like that at KCOH. And, you deal with a lot with AM radio at that time of night. And then starting to 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, and I'm driving 45, 50 miles just to get there to make it for a 6 o'clock show, which started, I probably got about 6:10 normally on a good day. And then also watching it go from growing, we all grew professionally because everybody, I didn't know Charles when this first started. Mike was in a different realm where he is. His children was much smaller then. And Dr. Cavil was just cracking the educational piece of it. And then, personal, like you say, our families, or at least I can say my family has grown. Everybody else is grown up and grown out. And then also, then you can start online because we, like you said, we was first on KCOH in the studio. Then we stayed on KCOH, but then remember they had the online camera. You had to turn left to see him. It took the back of my head pretty much, waving, whatever. And then, so whatever happened after that, I don't know if it's a pandemic or just life in general. Y'all moved to online exclusively. And, at that time, I'm like, let's see how this is going to work. Because I always thought radio always had a presence. Next thing you know, y'all blew up online and, professional growth kind of sent me down the other hallway. And y'all grew from there. If I try to come back tomorrow, y'all wouldn't even let me anymore. That's how big y'all get. But this how professionally is. I can tell you this. I was talking to somebody. I can say his name now. He's going Dito, Deputy Commissioner MEAC, was just named yesterday. And when I was at the MEAC with him a few years ago, he would always say, Dr. Cavil and Bishop and them, what about him? What you know about him, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to fill him in on who y'all are. And, next thing you know, he moves back into the SWAC and you working with him. But he was watching somehow way in the MEAC and, a different time zone. So you just don't know who this show impacts and who you're going to run across. And I think that is the biggest thing. 400, man, that's a big number, And so I just want to thank you all for keeping up going, because we all had trials and tribulations at the start. I can tell you that. But whenever it got rolling, it got rolling. I guess that's that smart engineering background, plus that business background from Charles. You put all those heads together, life is great. And so I just applaud y'all for carrying the torch and taking the relay baton and making the most of it. Because I don't know, when we started, would we have thought we would have been sitting here on June 6th, 2023, when we started in 2012, so 2013. Yeah, 2013, on a AM signal on a late Sunday night. So I applaud everybody for sticking with it, because we know we got commitments and time, and for y'all to do this and take that baton, like I said, man, I don't know what to say. I'm almost speechless.
Man, you said it right. You never speechless though. But the great words of wisdom, and continue to grow, continue to do your thing. You know you got a brother and a support. Want to thank you for taking out your busy schedule, making sure that you were part as we do our introduction for episode 400. We'll be right back after this first break, and we'll get you on the other side. We'll bring on another team to give you their thoughts in terms of how they emerged and what 400 means to them, because we're part of the 400 Club. Stick with us. Be right back after this break.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum designed for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
The human press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Welcome to episode 400 Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast on the Black College Sports Network. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports coach, HBCU athletic aesthetics facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. For short, we call it just HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We got our latest rendition of our team. BJ Jones, Joshua Sims seniors. You see these guys regular in terms of what they're doing on their own. We brought them into the fold for our Sundays editions, which will start back up before long because it's getting quicker as we end the year. As y'all had this special session the other day on HBCU Nightly, as you do it the way you do it, which we talked about the analysis of the season coming up. What's about that time we can talk a little football? I told you, Joshua Sims, BJ Jones, I know y'all the football gurus, but we cover it all. So we sneak through everything until baseball is over. We can't talk football except for a little bit. Now we can get into it. But with that said, we're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to a KCOA 1230 AM studios of Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. And when Ryan last segment was talking about KCOH, the gentleman that put us on the radio is none other than Ralph Cooper. So I wanted to make sure I did that, purposely pushing the introduction back a little bit because we tied all in. As we did in the breaks, I promised Ryan that we would talk about it as he's preparing to go get into some food. Back in the day, when we didn't have as many responsibilities, BJ Jones and Joshua Sims, I know y'all can relate to that as you sweating, getting off that line, or as Mike told me, man, you better learn contract.
Better subcontract that.
I tell you the secret I told you in the break, man. Mike brought me a lawnmower. See, as many years, I can tell this now. Man, I fell out and acted like I couldn't breathe and was wheezing and told me I got asthma. She said, "Oh, baby, you ain't got to cut me off." I said, "Shit." Yeah, let's go find somebody to cut me off. So you better find the tricks of the trade, man. I know happy wife, happy life, but it is what it is.
Contract.
Get into subcontract. That's Mike will tell you. But he wanted to talk about the fact that we used to rush out of there, have somebody stash a seat because they had this place called 5015. Different ownership still have it now, and they would have the infamous steak nights. Boy, we couldn't wait to get over in the steak. I got in trouble when everybody saw me order 2 steaks. That's many steaks ago. I don't do it like that anymore.
I tell you what, Doc. It was nothing like talking HBCU sports than getting over the 50-15 for steak night.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
good time.
Good time. Sound like my kind of time.
Like, no,
Hey.
I want that one. They were good.
Yeah, you pick your steak, and they knew how to make drinks. That you don't ever go to them places, they know how to pour. They don't pour, they pour drinks. Roy was messing around. That's why I made him take a shot of Grandma Ye. I said, "Roy, you taking this shot? I don't drink. I don't care. You drinking tonight."
Oh, that's my Joshua, BJ Jones. Appreciate y'all joining the team. I'm proud of what you're bringing together with X's and O's. I can't wait until that venture jumps off. Young lady, Howard University, is sharing that platform with you as you get into it. I want to make sure I give her love in regards to what she brings to the table, Erica, because she's brilliant as well. Then you have the HBCU Nightly. BJ Jones has his HBCU Weekly that he puts in there that shares a different perspective of diaspora. Young, heart, mind, and go get it. These individuals play the sport, coach the sport at various levels, specific at HBCUs on different sides of the ball. So when I saw and heard that, I was like, man, we got to make something special. Y'all got to do this. And they ran with it. You know, you talk to some folks, they don't do it, but you all ran with it and far exceeding my expectations. I see that with Charles when he does this thing. Mike came on here talking about he's doing a tape for ESPN, and next thing I know, we're in it 4 deep, as they said, all the way to the tires roll off. We're on it. But I'm going to start with you, BJ Jones, as we brought you onto the show, whatever, you did your thing. What are your thoughts when you hear episode 400?
You on mute, bro.
All right, my bad. What I missed the last part. I'm rusty, man. I'm rusty. I mean, what's the last part of that question, Doc?
I was just saying, when you hear 400, you know, as we brought you on and you did your thing, you show out and you were making your rounds. When you got on here and you hear us talk about this is episode 400 and you're a part of the team. You're not just a guest, you're part of the team. What is on your side when you think about that?
I remember the first time, ever coming along, jumping on the sports lab, man. That was, man, what, 2018, 2019, somewhere up in there, man. And remember, man, a little bit nervous, man, because Doc has summoned, and you know what I mean. But just really, man, just getting to know you, Doc, and Charles, and Mr. Washington over there, and his infamous trips that he takes when he's out on assignment. Just to get
Why
to
they
know
gotta
you
be
guys.
infamous?
Because he telling the truth. He heard.
But man, just to get to know you guys and Roy and the entire Black College Sports Network crew, man, it's been amazing. And 400 is an amazing milestone, man, because most people don't make it to that many episodes. It's just a testament of the great work that everyone puts in here, and just a tremendous achievement, Doc, man. So happy for you guys.
Man, we're happy for you young guns to pick it up. Because anybody knows me, a faculty member, teacher, professor, that's what it's about. If you can't develop folks, bring folks in and see something that they may not even see themselves, or if they do see it and say, hey, man, take this right, and you see folks that take the right and then they take their own left, and you're like, man, wow, I didn't even know I could even think about that. They doing more than I ever imagined. But the fact that you're a part of that is important to me. But I wanted to go to you, Josh, bring you in to complete this circle. We're SWAC focused, fascinated, but we wanted to bring broad. We wanted to come with the SIAC, CIAA, particularly the MEAC. And you created that perfect loop to that circle about doing that. And then you all have developed the next part of making sure there's a woman voice. And I've been telling you all the time that I needed that part of it. And you all finding a way to do that. I just want to say that is powerful in itself. Let me ask you in this way, because we've asked about 400. As you starting and you just celebrated 50, what is the magnitude when you start talking about developing your show and your framework and getting your opportunity to incorporate what we're doing? How has that been?
Doc, this, Mike and Chuck, this, man. I refer to you guys as the generals, man. When my brother BJ said, the summons of the doctor, to be amongst people who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and my respect comes in the place of how my grandmother taught me how to give respect, and that's in reverence and in honor. And my grandfather was an old military guy, man. My mother's dad, he was a military guy. And so when I give a guy, if I salute somebody, that means I'm saluting them with love. I wasn't in the military. I didn't get a chance to, serve in the military. But the reality is that the way I look at you gentlemen and what you guys have built through this, it comes with, just a level of a command and a level of honor and reverence and respect that I hope that me and my brother BJ Jones and me and Erica can be able to get to that level. This X's and O's, all of this is the brainchild of y'all, man. Y'all brought me and B together like this, and me and BJ have talked countless times about the fact that we got here where we are right now because y'all gentlemen came and y'all said, listen, man, let's welcome these brothers into the fold. BJ, you guys welcome BJ in the fold, but then y'all welcome me in with my MEAC perspective. Like I was a cousin that y'all just ain't in, you know what I mean? Like y'all had missed the channel, man. And so, I think personally for me, being able to be a part of this is a personal high for me, man. And so whatever it is, what we're building through X's and O's network, and what I'm building through HBCU Nightly, what BJ is building through Inside HBCU Football and HBCU Weekly, what Erica is building through hers, it is a reflection of the work that you guys have done, man. And so 400 is a incredible milestone. But we got a whole lot more to go, man. So I ain't going to sit on 400 because I'm looking forward to way past 400, dog. I'm waiting for us to get past 400 and we're going to get to this thing and continue to push it forward. But I, first of all, want to say thank you to y'all three, man. Thank you, God. Like, real talk. From the bottom of my heart, Chuck, Mike, General Doc, man, I appreciate you guys a lot, man. Thank you guys for welcoming me into this family. And I hope that I'm representing you guys well, man.
No, every day.
I appreciate it.
Charles,
Yeah.
I remember when you came into my office. I'm like, man, it's I told you, and you gave me a call. I said, come on by. You came by. We had to rush to the studio. We got to the studio, which is similar to how I did these guys. So that's why I'm asking that. I was like, hey, man, they ain't here. Come on, get on the mic. He's like, oh, really? So when you see these guys, when they were in there and we did the show, and he's like, yeah, y'all gonna do y'all X's and O's shows here as we're in Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl. I'm sure, how did you feel when that tickled you? He's like, yeah, I got that treatment too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was very reminiscent, because it's throwing you into the fire, so to speak. And the great thing about Joshua and BJ, you guys bring so much nuance to what it is that we're watching, and I think listeners have appreciated you early for taking us even further in depth with the game and bringing the knowledge of playing the game. So I think that goes a long way. I always joke with Doc, I first came onto the show because being here in Houston, there isn't a lot of people talking about HBCU sports. Ralph Cooper was that individual. And I would always tune in, leaving for work. And when he mentioned Dr. Cavil and he said coming from right here at Texas Southern University, I said, wait just a second. I literally thought Doc was, on the East Coast somewhere. And I was like, who is this on the East Coast with all this knowledge about, swag? And that's literally, I said, let me just take a shot in the dark and call up and just, tell him I want to provide stats, just be a part of it because of my love for HBCU athletics, because of my love for, football, basketball, baseball, and to watch you guys grow in the way that you have, it speaks tons that, he's so fond of your program. Anytime, whenever, I'm on Twitter and HBCU Nihilist, I see Doc in the corner. So, he is really taking a liking to you guys, and you guys are doing tremendous work, and I appreciate everything that you bring to this platform, or what we call the diaspora. That is HBCU sports, HBCU athletics.
Before we get in this break and let you go, I'm going to go to Mike. Mike, BJ Jones, I sent you that shirt, that HBCU shirt. I know you're a member of Cavil outside. It was red. But Mike was tough on you, man. Mike was like, man, you buy that shirt.
I was like, man. No, that's not what I said, man. I basically said, what's up with the shirt?
So, with that being said, Mike, I want you to share some words, the whole old head, and I mean that with all respect.
Yep.
Johnson Jules, and just your final thoughts in terms of these gentlemen, what they bring to the table. So while they celebrating us, as we do it, as we bring on the next group, it's also about us celebrating you all. So we wanted to take this time that y'all thought this was going to be about us. It's also about you all. So I wanted Mike to have a chance to say his words.
Yeah. You try to do it as eloquently as my man CB did, but quite simply, first time I'll start with BJ. I heard him, and he was breaking down linebackers' thought process during plays. And when we started, we started as statisticians. We wanted to put polls out there, something that hadn't been done, and we took it to that next level. When I heard BJ, I was like, who is this? Man. And he brought data points to life. I always talk about data points. He brought data points to life and took us through actual plays. That was taking it to that next level. I was blown away. And then I heard Josh, I think I shared with you, I heard your show one time. I dialed in, and y'all were spitting fire. I was like, oh, this is what we need. That's that right there. So what you guys, all due respect to both of you. I call BJ the football whisperer. Joshua, I think you breathe life and spirit into this, and I'm just blown away in that awe at what you guys do. I said, we need a female, we need that crew, we need that dynamic, but we need to talk to 21st, 22nd century people. We need to bring HBCU to a 21st, 22nd century audience. And that's what you guys do. I have no doubt, unequivocally, that both your stuff will grow exponentially, because I was blown away. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to let Josh talk. I'm gonna let BJ talk. I'll keep my little old data points. I'll be quiet so y'all won't cut my mic off. But the level and the and the professionalism, but the creativity that both of you bring is phenomenal. And I'm at awe as an old head. So I didn't study it. We knew there was a need, as CB said. You know, there was a need in Houston, and we said, hey, how can we get in this? We started just putting polls together. People would say, man, who is Dr. What does he mean with this poll? Who is he? People get mad at him. They didn't even know him. So I say, all right, statistically, this is how we're looking at each categories. And look at where we are now. But you guys, man, are phenomenal. So I appreciate the accolade, but right back 360 at both of you.
Yeah, much love. As we go to our last break, they recently got a feeling for that poll and updates. They get it all the time. So I'm not gonna say that.
Now between brothers, I ain't gonna say I always support. I ain't gonna say I always support your polls, but
Listen, I done got a
appreciate you. Much love. We'll come back on the other side. Make sure y'all catch up with HBCU Nightly, HBCU Weekly in terms of X's and O's as they get started. As we get into it this fall, we're gonna give you this update, and we're gonna start this summer as we get into these MEAC SWAC Media Days. We'll bring you that news, albeit both of them, even adding in the SIEC this year. So we're gonna continue to expand, continue to bring some stuff, and we got some new work stuff in the mix that we'll keep you updated. So you know we're always changing, always updating. With that, thank you, brothers, for joining us and celebrating this magnificent opportunity. Couldn't do it with a better group. Stickers will be right back after this last break.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients. Call T. Madden & Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, yeah, and who the ball, So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Yes, we're going to go a full hour. I said the last break, we actually have one more break for our last segment. We're going to give you the full show with all the stuff in here, but we're going to come back with the voice, what I call the voices of BCSN, Black College Sports Network, and give their perspective as they've joined us to provide some analysis, but oftentimes you see them behind the camera. Mo Carter obviously doing it with Fox 54 Sports, giving you sports all you need out of that North Alabama area. But at other time, he comes around and gives us a voice in terms of play-by-play and analysis as he does it for the Black College Sports Network. And then the other one you hear on the sports doing it as well is Jamie Walker. So I wanted to give a perspective to share it and outside it to let you know just how much we do with the Black College Sports Network and how vast the talents that we bring to the table. But obviously, I got a chance as we're doing momentous 400 club, as we've gotten there now. I wanted to bring y'all in and talk about your thoughts on that and what does that mean and how you are connected with us. And oftentimes we need that different voice and you all are able to come to the table. I'm going to go to Jamie Walker since I brought in the Eagle. You know, I had to bring in the Aggie. It just was right like that in terms of that. So we wanted to make sure we share the love in terms of Jamie Walker. What are your thoughts in terms of what it means to be a part of the Black College Sports Network, but to share the space with us as we get to 400?
First and foremost, I want to congratulate you all for making it to 400. A lot of people on this space and a lot of people within this space are fly-by-night folks, and you all have put in the work. You persevered. You continue fighting the good fight and raising up our HBCUs as they should be. And what I can tell you is this. Me coming around 2.5 years ago, talking to Roy Evans and others when it comes to this space, it was a combined effort in relation to bringing some of the premier voices that love this space and don't just do it for any monetary gain, but they sincerely love talking about HBCU sports. And that's how I kind of came around, because it was kind of like, hey, here's a combined effort of things that we can do and uplift the space. And I'm just thankful for him and others bringing me along. And my connection and my thing is kind of the utility guy. I don't have a show on the space, but I contribute, kind of everywhere. And along with the play-by-play in color, when we do have sporting events in BCSM or on BCSN. And so that's kind of my contribution to it. And, just being able to get to a place where, this show and the voices of this who have done this longer than I have continue to be those voices of education, not just those that, present just the name, but we haven't agreed on everything that's occurred. We are prideful when it comes to our schools. Dr. Cavil will let me know in a heartbeat that this is not it, and let me educate you. And thank God I am humble enough to sit there and take it, because he has fought the good fight. And so, yes, being educated by Charles, Mike, and Dr. Cavil, Roy, and others, I am thankful for just being around and being here. So, congratulations to getting the 400, and may you have 4,000 more.
Thank you. Thank you. Mo Carter, the resident professional, trained journalist, media person in here. Let me go to Mo in terms of dealing with us. And what y'all don't realize, Mo has given more tidbits in terms of how we navigate this space, because we took a little bit of a shortcut and did it differently. But he hasn't looked down on us look any different. And so I want to say I appreciate that. But Mo Carter, I want to give you a chance in terms of how do you put up with us?
Well, you just heard he went to church.
The easy answer is just to say patience is a virtue. as far as with all that. But first and foremost, Dr. Cavil, I want to go ahead and say, congratulations on 400. I don't know when exactly I started tuning in, but I know it was somewhere in the early stances. But my connection to you and all the guys on the show and really across BCSN really goes back to the whole thing, how they talk about in the communication industry, it's all about who you know. I remember when I was in Montgomery working for WAKA, Alabama News Network, and I was doing play-by-play for Alabama State at the time. I think I just put some work out on Twitter, and Dr. Cavil had liked and retweeted one of my stories or whatever, and then he started constantly doing this. I'm like, hey, who's this Dr. Cavil guy? And it was crazy because, I knew of Dr. Cavil's work, but I wasn't putting two and two together at that point. And then, saw him promo, something like, hey, check us out online or whatever. And I continued to do so. And then we linked up at a SWAC Media Day. And, we've been pretty cool and close ever since, going back and forth as far as information being shared. Of course, Dr. Cavil, with you having a very close connection with majority of the athletic directors and even some presidents within the SWAC. It's always good to have a mind like yours to share with the outside world about not only the data, but the inside and the comings and the goings of a lot of things. And I think that helps me as a sports anchor understand a lot of things as well. And then with Roy and BCSN, I think the communication just continued really through Brian Fulford. He hit me up one day and was like, hey, let's do an interview or whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm guest hosting this and guest hosting that. And then eventually got on with BCSN just from my work in the past. And all of a sudden, I went from congratulating Roy one day saying, hey, man, congratulations, you got Miles and Stillman. Hey, thank you. Let me call you real quick. You want to be the voice of Miles and Stillman now, just like that? And I'm like, sure, why not? Let me go ahead and just fit it into the schedule and whatnot. So, yeah, man, I think it all goes back to just communication aspect. And I think also just a pretty tight-knit group. And because we all represent, HBCUs from an undergrad standpoint, but also from working and doing a whole lot of things that lots of time isn't monetary, but we do it for the public, for everybody to know and whatnot. I think that's one of the greatest gifts that we're able to not only share amongst each other, but also to the fans. And like I said before, yeah, definitely patience is a virtue. And by having a little religious background too, I think that kind of rolls with it as well. Because here's the thing, I really never have a problem. I think it's more so just watching y'all go back and forth and be like, all right, sometimes we got to stop this, It's just keep on going.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Mo. And the other part that is fun is when we talk about being able to have the vehicle to have the work between Southern University and Jackson State University. So we get to pick on it and we get to bring it in, and half the time we just turn on the camera and let it do it.
Hey, look, Doc, that is so true. And look, let's go a step further. So, as I mentioned, I was voice for Miles and Stillman this past year for basketball, and all of a sudden we had this huge day where Tuskegee was playing Miles, and it was the women's and the men's game, which was for first place in the division. So I'm doing this, and Roy was like, man, I got to put somebody else at Stillman or whatever. So I'm like, okay, great, I'll do Tuskegee Miles. He was like, okay, cool, man, I'm going to set you up. I'm like, okay, who I'm being set up with? He was like, oh, I'm going to set you up with Charles. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so you're going to put a Southern University guy on play-by-play with a Jackson State guy on color on a day that Miles is playing Tuskegee. We're like, boy, rivalries is just going all over the place here and there. But just to let everyone know, if you did not check out that action-packed game that went all the way down to the wire in both contests, Charles and I were on our best behavior from the beginning to the end.
It was phenomenal, too. It was phenomenal.
It shows you a Jaguar and Tiger can actually get along.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right, Water, because, I mean, really, until that, I think the only JSU person that I could deal with media-wise was Rob J. So I'm glad to know that Charles is the second person I could deal with.
All right. Y'all can tell the truth. I mean, we're amongst family, right? Mo, how much prayer did you have to do to say, Lord, let me sit with CB, let me sit with Charles, and not you giving us the nice stuff, but tell us what really happened.
I do pray before my performances, but it wasn't that deep.
Well, y'all just heard it from the voice of Black College Sports Network, and Charles is part of that as well. So perfect timing in terms of bringing this group together, in terms of how we extend and what this show means in terms of the parts that make this all work. And again, this is part of the Black College Sports Network, and we ask you all to work with us as we continue to extend what it means to be a part of this network, part of this group, and part of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. So Jamie Walker, Mo Carter, keep doing the great work. Keep allowing those voices to grow, and tell me how to sharpen up my voice so I can get that perfect voice like you all. And then maybe I can get out in the mix with Charles and Mike as they continue to spin off and do their own thing. Sticking with us, we'll be right back after our last break, and we'll bring in the final part of the team to give you another perspective of what it means to do 400 countdown. We're at it now. 400 show, you seeing it right here on the Black College Sports Network. Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Yeah, 400 is for real. We've been on the air and we do it. And that's just with the Black College Sports Network. We've done it before that. We'll continue this partnership because you see the magic that all of us put together to make sure you get your entertainment on HBCU Sports, the sporting HBCU dashboard, as I like to call it. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this last break. Thanks, John.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Man, we're going to get on with one of the original shows, sport HBCU shows on the Black College Sports Network. They opened it up for us and made sure that we had a space to do what we do. So we want to bring in Brian and AD Drew for sports rap and give them a chance to salute them for all they do. And these guys are special talent because not only can they be in front of the camera, they can be behind the camera. So oftentimes when Roy is out there going to make sure that we get some revenue for the Black College Sports Network, we have these gentlemen to thank to make sure that we get on air to get to 400. So this is part of the team. And you've seen both AD Drew, Brian come on as Mike is traveling and doing his thing, as well as Charles, particularly when he was doing the pregame show and had to be out of pocket at time. These guys came up with the switch hitters, were able to give us some extra backs to make sure that we had the voice and give you what you expect when you come on Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. So without further ado, Brian and AD. Brian, how's it going today?
It's great. Congratulations, guys. 400, the big 400. I was sitting here trying to find significant numbers for 400, and well, you guys are now the official. 400 comes up, it's gonna show you guys, because I couldn't find anything really. So I mean, it was just.
I love it. I'll take it.
It ain't nothing special.
Well, look, the two things that came up, you had like, it's hard to hit 400 in baseball, so there's like a rare number, and then that 400 syntax error, and I was like, well, this ain't no bad request, this ain't a bad show, so we made it to 400, so I mean that doesn't apply. So I tried, but anyway, congratulations, guys.
Charles is the official record keeper here in terms of what do you take the next step to get your SWAC hours. And so you won one of the big four, big three, whichever, baseball. So Charles, are they formally part of the team SWAC now in regards to the fact they got a baseball championship?
You know what? They got a baseball championship. They got their SWAC hours when they invited me onto the ONG strike zone after 59-3. That was when I was like, you know what? I like these guys. I like
SWAC, baby. We SWAC. What is SWAC?
It only took losing by 50 to become.
Hey, y'all all right with me, but no, for real. I mean, the guy, the work that you do with FAM and when Florida A&M came into the SWAC, I mean, to have a voice that came with them, that was very important to continue to hear that family perspective. So I appreciate what your show has done with regards to that, and what you contribute to Black college athletics in general every Sunday night. So I definitely enjoy it.
Hey, well, look, don't tell nobody, Charles, but y'all inspired me when I saw what y'all were doing with JSU. I was like, yo, they're doing what I want. And Roy will tell you, I had been pushing, and I see like what Mike's doing with PV. That's what I've been wanting to do and see done for a while. So I love these school-centric shows because they're able to give such a unique perspective from that base camp, guys who love their university. And even though sometimes we'll get in the woods and, when things aren't right, I've always said we got to talk about it because we want it to be right. And it's from a place of love for our universities. So you guys inspired me. And so I appreciate it.
And, Doc, I want to just take a real quick second. I want to, in terms of allowing me that opportunity to try to branch out and do the pregame show with Neely and what Neely has brought to this space. I definitely want to, say thank you. And people have asked me. Yes, the pregame show will continue in some facet. The pregame show will continue. But I definitely want to shout out my partner over there at Jackson State, because we had just had a very unique situation with Coach Prime allowing us behind the curtains, if you will, and it's opened up this whole different something in terms of taking a look at a specific school. So I have to acknowledge, everything that Neely brought into this space as well.
Well done. Shout out to Neely. He's always on the I remember being in the backdrop and helping choreograph that and put it together. It's another one of those things. I'm like, hey, man, this is an opportunity. Do not forsake the opportunity of what it can do to expand the marketplace. And look what you all did in conjunction with all those parts about expanding the marketplace and what we did with Black College Sports Network. So no, it's a perfect segment as I brought these guys in to kind of live in that space to tell us about how did we get to 400. With that, 80 Drew, as being an integral part, in some ways, we gave you your tenure status right here on this show.
I know,
as
right?
much as we start with Brian coming in, there is a significant part while your name may not necessarily be on the show in regards to that. You're much as part of this show as anyone in regards to the ways that you've made us and helped us get to 400. So with that being said, what are your thoughts in terms of all the ways that you played a role in this part, and how have you been able to do it so successfully?
Doc, it's been a lot of luck with this. And what I mean by that, you talk about producing some of those shows when Roy is out. What you fail to tell everybody, Doc, and Brian can attest to this, when you get that call 30 minutes before your show is scheduled, and it's like
the
either
pressure is
from you
on.
or for Roy, like, can you produce Doc today? And I'm like, well, a lot of times I'm at the house, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can go ahead and set up. But those days when I'm not at the house, I'm like, all right, I could be at home in like 10 minutes. It's going to take me about 10 minutes to set up all the equipment. We should be all right, fellas. I think we going to get in on time. And in 2 minutes before the top of the hour, I'm turning everything on. Everybody come on. And Charles is texting me, Doc, everything okay? Everything okay? Yeah, I'm here. I'm right now. I'm opening up the computer right now. So, and my point is, everybody does not understand the labor of love that not only you and the three of you all as the primary, you guys' names are on the show, but everybody else has as far as trying to make sure that we get this information out. And the guilt trip that we feel when we have technical errors, like somebody's internet goes down, or hey, we're coming on 15 minutes later because of life, and just trying to navigate and feeling guilty, like, all right, we got to give them the hour, y'all. We don't care if we coming on an hour and a half late. We still got to give them the hour on Tuesday night or Thursday night, and then Sunday mornings doing football season, just trying to figure out. All right, do I stay and do Doc? Do I try to go to church? Do I sleep in? Blah, 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 blah. Because it's just going through, it's really a labor of love.
Absolutely.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. So,
go ahead.
I'll let you finish. And I wanted to give you acolytes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's been an honor and a privilege, because I remember whenever I would do research, because I like to do research and find that off the wall statistic or that off the wall fact about something. And about 50% of the time I was seeing this Cavil guy. I didn't know it was Cavil then. It was Cavil.
His family will tell you it's Cavil too. Don't let I've known him for 30 years, so I know the struggle is real within the family.
Let me guess. When it became Doctor, it became Cavil. I understand how it goes. But anyway, about half the time it would be something that he co-authored or had an excerpt in, or blah blah blah, because you want to make sure that the source that you read, because you can't believe everything you read on the internet. So you want to make sure that the source that you're reading is legit. And I would see this guy's name come up, a lot of time. Then when me and Brian came together in 2017 with the sports rap, and we would try to get Dr. Cavil on, but our schedules wouldn't mesh because he had to be out the office by a certain time and everything. And then finally getting him on our show, that's when we were audio only, Brian.
I remember those days.
And then ultimately, everything being reciprocated when we all went video and Dr. Cavil came over to the Black College Sports Network. It's just a lot of stories to tell, a lot of backstories that we can't tell over over the air.
With that being said, would you tell Charles and Mike that I'm really not that hard to work with?
Look, all I know is when I'm at an event in person, people know me.
Think about it.
Dr. Cavil has made me known, if that makes sense.
There it is. They do. What they're saying, Mike, will give you a chance to talk about the Brian and the ONG strike zone with the 1876 sports and culture, how those unique components work together and the platforms. Obviously, this year it'll be interesting because you had Prairie View traveling to FAMU for a homecoming game. Obviously, we saw that unique mix with Jackson State and FAMU as they're in the same division. We'll see that multiple times with the pregame showing ONG strikes on and how those come together. But Mike, talk about that ONG and working with Brian and how that expanded you on your 1876 sports and culture.
Yeah, well, first, with that little FAMU, that little school in Tallahassee, we got the school that's known as the Real Hill coming to the school that claims to be the Hill. So
No,
I just
we got 7 of them, bro.
So,
We got 7 hills.
So, in all seriousness, I first, heard Brian and AD, and the professionalism, it rang out in me, and how they brought, kind of, I said earlier, those data points to life. How they broke down the aspects of the game. I like AD because I am a data geek. It's part of my background. I like how the research part of it. I like delving deep and bringing those facts that people don't know about to life. And I like, Brian, I kind of look at how he steers the flow. And we do that with 1876 sports and culture at Prairie View. And we're like, all right, that's one of the shows we look at. Hey, look at how they steer the program. Look at the angles that they cover. And we take, you don't know this, but we take some elements of what you do. We took some elements of what Charles did with pregame, and we try to infuse those in 1876 sports and culture. You mentioned AD feeling guilty. Everybody jokes, where's Mike this week? Where's Mike this week? And, it's been a family effort. I do feel very guilty. Yada will tell you, I'm texting, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm in a plane. It's delayed. It's this, it's that. And he and CB, I love those brothers. I joke with them, but they've been very, very patient, with my schedule. And then I came on and see AD. He's doing both. He's behind the scenes and he's doing the show. And that just tells you, I say that because of the talent that both of you have. And I really admire the talent that you bring to this family. You came in, it's like your family automatically, but I just want to say I really appreciate you and how you've allowed me at least to jump in on a few shows. I felt I made some because Brian said, and we have Mike Washington today. I was like, all right, yeah, they gonna let little stepbrother go on to the show today. So, but no, I tip my hat to the both of you, the professionalism, the courtesy, but the creativity also that you bring to the show and the talent. I mean, for you to be able to do both sides of the coin, that says a lot. That speaks volumes about you and your professionalism and your dedication to this.
With that, Brian, I want to give you your final thought on 400.
Well, hey, look, I'm excited. We're 400, and I'm marking my calendar. I'm already starting to glance ahead and try to figure out when we hit 500 before the end of 2023. If I do the math right, we very well might. So I'm praying that we all have a good second half of the year. Isn't that crazy? We're almost at the halfway point of 2023. Anyway.
It might as well be. Yeah, we there.
Yeah, it's like we're there, right?
We're there.
So I'm just praying that we continue to have good health. I'm appreciative, to all of your families, because I say this as I think I'm the single guy with no kids, okay? And even Roy has kids, Drew has kids. So I'm just thankful for all of your families, and because for you guys to be able to commit time, effort, energy, the research, the time and effort that you put in behind the scenes for a show, it far exceeds the amount of time when we're on the air. So that means that's time away from family. So for your families, I say thank you to your families, all of your families, because this labor of love that Roy and I have, we wouldn't be able to do it without sacrifices. I know good and well Roy's sacrifice, everybody's sacrifice, but I just want to say, Doc, Charles, Mike, thank you to your families. Thank you and your families for their commitment to making this happen. For all of us in HBCU Nation, all of us have gotten something from the shows over 400, and I'm excited about trying to get to 5.
Man, appreciate it. I'll clip that and make sure I send it directly to Faith Washington.
Exactly. Hey, can you send it this way to Kim Washington?
I know. Well,
hey, Drew, final thoughts on 400.
By the end of the month, Dr. Cavil, you're going to hit your Ted Williams show. That's number 406. If we want to talk about significant numbers. And,
there you go.
baseball 406 is that next magical number. But no, it's
06 is magical. Yeah.
06.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There we
That
go.
was the 06.
There we go.
I just heard the 06.
AD Drew hit on it.
Didn't even know what he hit on.
I just heard the 06. I'm sorry.
So that show will have double meaning when we hit that show. But no, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this space and shout out to Roy for having the vision back in 1998 for creating the Black College Sports Network, letting me come on in 2017, and Brian calling me in 2017 and saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this podcast. We're gonna do this. What we supposed to talk about?" back in 2017 to let me rediscover my talent. I was on the radio at one point in time, but I was not doing sports talk. I was that Friday night, Saturday night hip hop DJ and quiet storm DJ, depending on which genre that I did. So for me to actually be on a platform that allowed me to do what I have always wanted to do. So thank you, Roy, for coming up with the concept. Thank you, Brian, for giving me that call to say this recreate this podcast. Thank you, Dr. Cavil, for allowing me to come on to your platform and introducing me to a new audience of people. Charles, Mike, just thank you guys for being brothers and being there when a brother need a hand.
No doubt about it. We're going to take one quick last break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to give Charles and Mike their final thoughts on 400. So stick with us as we do a little surprise and extend the show for overtime in a little bit. But stick with us for one final break. We'll come back on the other side and get final thoughts. Thank you.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're at the close of episode 400. We made it to the 400 Club. I want to personally say thank you for watching us. Shout out to all those lab listeners that came out of here: Carol Cleveland, HBCU Heritage Center, Arby, Parker, Chuck Hunt, Wendy Jenkins Bishop, Lyndon Blow, Stan Hardy, Thomas Maddox. Who else we got on here? Silas McMorris, Belinda Johnson, Karen Griffin. We just want to say, Christopher White, want to say thanks for supporting us, and all the ones that we didn't shout out. Many of you lab listeners of why we do it and why we continue and how we got to 400. We couldn't have did it without you. So shout out for all those, and all those will pick this up later. Shout out to all those that watch us on YouTube. I know we have a diverse mixture of all those folks out there in Twitter. Those that engage me on that platform engage us. Shout out to those in the background in terms of G Boom Holly, in terms of the work he does to make sure we're updated on Twitter and getting the shows and posting those. Chris, as Gardner, as he gets it done. Cicely, as she continues to do a production part of this. I wanted to thank them all. Roy, in terms of what he does and his labor for Black College Sports Network and bringing us in to make sure that we have the true partnership and what goes on there. So I wanted to say that. But I would be remiss if I didn't give my partners a chance to close out with their final thoughts. Charles, 400, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Cavil. You gave me an opportunity to be a part of a platform. And one of the highest forms of compliments is this is a trusted source of HBCU news. and that means a lot to me in terms of being a part of a platform like that. For allowing me the space to grow within this HBCU community, for doing the pregame show. Now, moving forward, doing my play-by-play and color analyst duties, I'm very appreciative because this is home base. Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. And I think Brian touched on it. I want to thank my wife, my kids, for allowing me to do this. She puts up with me, in terms of, like you said, the research and the being away from home, be at games and things of that nature. I'm appreciative of that. Thank you, Wendy, for allowing me this space as well. But Dr. Bill, I just want to formally thank you so that everybody can hear it. You brought me into something that I have a complete love for, and that's HBCU athletics. And to give me an opportunity to talk about it throughout the year, it means a lot, and it means a lot to be a part of this platform. I appreciate it.
Wendy, when I read his parting notes, I edited that and made sure he put that in there. I just wanted to know that. He did all that from the heart. He did all that from the heart. He would not allow me to read his notes. Go ahead, please.
Charles gonna get some sugar. Charles gonna get some. Charles gonna get a kid. No. Where do I start? I start with family. Thank my wife Kimberly as well. She when we started talking about it, she's known Dr. Cavil for quite a long time. He's actually thanked her on the air as well for her patience. So me, I'm a jovial, joking person, but when it comes to family, I'm very serious. So thank you, Kimberly, for the opportunity. And it's not just about doing this show, it's the commitment to go to events and broadcasts, where possible. That's time away from home. Kids got stuff, life happens. And for her to have the patience, I thank her as well. Dr. Cavil, where do we start, man? 30 plus years. I remember when we were talking, about this, you really have become the czar. What I'm saying? We don't say, the czar, but you become teacher, educator, and you've helped create avenues and streams with this show. I remember those polls, those initial polls when there was a buzz saying, "Who is this Cavil guy?" Man, is he tough? I remember those like they were yesterday. And these were like in the mid 90s. And man, who is this? And then I started jumping in. And so I remember that. And he was like, let's go ahead and start a show. I knew nothing about it, knew it's something I wanted to do. And you say, come on, and we started this thing. And here we are 400 shows later. Use and CB have been very patient, like brothers to me. I try to do, what I can with my schedule, but it's kind of become part of the show. Where the heck is Mike this week? So, CB, it's been an honor to work with you as well. Man, you came in, but what you're doing, you're taking it to that next level with the pregame. I see you on the sidelines, man. A lot of that goes to Dr. Cavil, but a lot of that is attested to your ethic, your talent, and your drive to be successful. So I consider it an honor over these past 400 to work with the both of you. As brothers, as family, as friends. So, and it really means the most to go 400. It means that this group, and especially Dr. Cavil, there is brand loyalty. There is an authoritativeness that comes out of what we come out of this show. Was it on this show? Oh, okay. We got to talk about it. That professionalism that Dr. Cavil has said, we may or may not be the first, but we're going to be the accurate. We're going to be the most accurate to have the right news and put it out there. We're going to engage the fans. We're going to grow. And all of that has happened. And you've seen over the last 60 minutes, all of the folks that have now spurned, from this show. I'd take just as much pride in that. And some of the newer shows that are springing. And, shout out to 1876 Sports and Culture with Joe, Alan, and the rest of the crew, and Roland and Shanetta. Heck of a crew. Now, I will say that Dr. Cavil can be very difficult to work with. We did a show and he was fussing. Man, he was like, you got to use no dead space. We love Dr. Cavil, but we didn't like him that day. So
You're not supposed to say this, Mike. You're not supposed to tell everybody.
He was so mad at us. See, I told you it works. No, I can say it because that's my brother for 30 years and I love him to death, absolutely. But I can say no more words. It's been an honor. So again, a pleasure working with the both of you, and I look forward to many more working with the both of you.
No doubt.
And learning from each and every, and learning from both of you as well. And to our fans, hats off to you. The loyal fans, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. I'll make this quick as we get into it. We stretched it out as much as we can. So I want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to our fans. Thanks to my wife, Faith Washington, for allowing me to do this. As the gentleman said, no better partner could do that. Thanks for Deuce, that has found his way to join the show in some capacity and start even giving his opinion as he did again last Saturday with his baseball analysis. So that's funny to see how he's grown and be a part of it. And he really knows. I remember when he was little, didn't quite understand, but now he knows. He looks in. Is he on the show? You on the show, and he knows how to be quiet and whisper and does his thing. So it's unique. He loves Mike. He loves Charles. He loves the team. He grows, and I can see his growth in terms of being a part of it. So as I always tell y'all, I consider you all his uncle, whether it's his alpha uncles or his Black College Sports Network uncles. So I appreciate you all helping me develop the Deuce in the man. Young boy, and man, he eventually will come. So I appreciate that and all those. As they say, shout out to Charles and those individuals on TNT with the NBA show. Shout out as I'm getting out of here in terms of this, and we're going 1, 2, 3 Cancun. We're going to do Punta Cana. We're quickly getting out of here because I'll hit the airways tomorrow morning. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As we finalize this show, it's time for me to take a little break and get a little time. But we'll deliver you something on Thursday as the crew will be at it to do it. But I'll be out of the way. I might try to sneak and give y'all a piece of the island life over there. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Hope you enjoyed all our guests. Too many to name personally at this time, but you know them. I want to say our fans in a lot of ways are our guests. So shout out to each of you all for all the love, the impact you do it for you all, and we'll continue to make sure you get the great content that you deserve. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. We look forward to Thursday as we go to 4:01. Wow. Can you believe it? We'll discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattacavil. Again, that's DrKenyattacavil. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I also want to say a special shout out to those HBCU coaches, men's and women's, that gave us an opportunity to tell their story and to trusting us to tell their story. Shout out to the VP of Athletics, ADs, that have given me all the time and space to make sure that their perspective was shown and they have a voice that they can trust in sharing news with me in the appropriate way of knowing when and when not to make sure it is out there in the public space. Shout out to the commissioners, each one of you, those that have been present and even those in the past that have entrusted me to make sure that I get it right. And so I appreciate each of you. So I wanted to take that moment. And those in terms of executive directors of our classics, our championship game, those individuals, and do not necessarily want to call you out directly by name, because some of you all have contacted me and trust me in such a way that I don't necessarily have to do that. But you know who you are, and I wanted to make sure that you got the biggest things, because without you all providing an opportunity to make sure that these young athletes that I want to thank lastly, but most importantly, in terms of entrusting us to tell their story and making sure they have an opportunity to do what they need to do as they move forward. I want to say thank you for that. Dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Horse.
Mike.
Lecture.
Shout out to Roy, who makes it all work.
Big dog Roy. Appreciate it. My homie.